Together with my colleague Kajsa Eriksson, I have done an abstract with the title The Effects of a 1-Year Individually Adapted Rehabilitation Program in Horses with Neurological Dysfunction Caused by EHB1 EHM. And this intervention was considered routine clinical practice and non-invasive. Therefore, no specific ethical approval was needed in Sweden. Informed consent was documented for all of the horses and owners taking part in this study. And we'd like to give a huge thanks to the owners and the horses at the riding facility Skånsta Ryttare in Stockholm, Sweden, for letting us do this and helping us with all the information. The background to this study is that in January 2019, we had an equine herpes virus type 1 outbreak at the riding facility in Sweden. There, 39 of 60 horses were affected. 19 of these 39 horses developed equine herpes myeloencephalopathy, and 12 of these 19 horses required hospital care at an intensive care unit. All horses showed varying classical symptoms with ataxia, weakness, and fatigue. And we couldn't find an established time for total recovery from EHM in the studies. And we also found only limited available information regarding rehabilitation following neurological diseases. Therefore, our objectives became to describe, document, and evaluate potential benefit of implementing individual rehabilitation plans for horses recovering from EHM. And we did this study over 1 year. So our study design became a case study, and our main limitation were unfortunately that we had a small study population and we didn't have any control group. So we had 4 privately owned horses, and the selection was based on owner participation and possibility to do the rehabilitation necessary. All of these 4 horses were initially hospitalized for 4 to 9 days at the intensive care unit. And after that, they had box rest first, and then paddock and hand walked during approximately 3 months. And after 3 months, they were considered sufficiently recovered to start up a more intensive rehabilitation. They all got individually designed rehabilitation protocols due to status and clinical findings when we did our examinations. So we did both neurological and functional tests 5 times over the first year. So we did a check of the cranial nerves. We did a tail pull both at a standing and a walk. We did serpentines. We did proprioception tests where we crossed front and hind legs. We had the horses starting and stopping. We did sensation tests. We had them moving backwards. We did lunging tests for 3 minutes to check for fatigue in these horses. We did a curve test with poles, and we had them walking straight and trotting straight, and also did small circles at the walk at both reins. And what we found out that we had a problem with and what we needed to rehabilitate in these horses were coordination, proprioception, core stability and balance, strength, and condition. And we also realized that we had to take into consideration the levels of fatigue in these horses, where some of the horses tired really quickly and some of them could work a little bit longer. So how did we rehabilitate them? First, we did pole work, and we had them walking over poles, first on the walk by hand, and when they got a little bit stronger, we had them trotting over poles, and we also raised the poles a little bit, and we also had the poles at different space between them to help them with proprioception. We did dynamic stabilization techniques, carrot stretches, and here we did it to the side, and you can see how to train the core. And we also had carrot stretches between the front legs. And to train balance and strength, we also did a tail pull both to the side and backwards. And when they were strong enough for these exercises, we also, in some horses, use stabilization plates, either in the hind feet or the front feet, or if they were really strong, in all 4 legs at the same time while we were doing the dynamic stabilization techniques. These horses also needed to get their condition back again. So we had them walking, both lunging and long reining, and also a little bit live packing. We did a long rein and lunging on some of the horses with the equiband system to train their core stability and strength. And we had the equiband system with the straps both under the belly and behind the hind legs to help them really build the strength. We had the horses favorably had them walking outside, where they could have a little bit of uneven ground and up and down, very slight incline, just to help them with their balance and proprioception. At the first, they only had to walk, but more and more, the stronger the horses became. These exercises were individually adapted throughout the year with regular follow-ups. Our results were that all 4 horses were considered normal by the owners, both mentally and physically, 6 to 8 months after the outbreak, and that all horses were back to previous level of activity 8 to 11 months after the outbreak. Our conclusion from this is that horses suffering from severe EHM may return to an acceptable athletic function given time, and also may benefit from an individually adapted rehabilitation program. But of course, a case control study would be required before any further conclusions could be drawn. Thank you. And feel free to send us any questions.